Yo, what up though, Rome? I know you like, hey, it's nighttime, what are we doing here? Well, we got a special episode of Sweet 1701. This is called The Late Checkout. And the reason why it's so special is because I got my big brother here. I got Carl Banks. We're going one-on-one with him. I got a few surprises for him. This is him calling me right now. So let's go downstairs and let's bring him up and I'll show you the surprise. Sweet 1701, let's go. Yo, what up, though? Ty Mopkins here. And I know you're looking around like, this look like Sweet 1701, but why is it so dark? Why does it look different? Well, this is the Late Checkout series here. We do this after Sweet 1701 shuts down and we check out. Then we bring in special guests here where we can go one-on-one and talk about them and their careers. Today's guest, I may get emotional, and I always say I get emotional during these shows, but I may get emotional here because if it wasn't for this person, it wouldn't be a Ty Mopkins. And I say this all the time because it's the truth. This man gave me a chance when nobody else did. He believed in my vision when I ain't even see what I thought I could do. He believed in me as that. So I'm bringing him to check out Sweet 1701. My brother, Flint, born and raised, the DFC connection. He's Barry Gordy. I'm Smokey Robinson. We kid about that all the time. Two-time Super Bowl champion for the New York Giants. All-American from Michigan State University. But more importantly, my brother, Carl Banks.
What's up, my guy?
My brother. I
good, man.
I always tell you how much I love you and I always tell you thank you for everything. And I just want to sit down with you. And this means more to me than you'll ever know because this is a new venture that I'm starting, getting into the podcast lane and sitting down and talking to people like that. So I just want to say thank you. Man,
I appreciate that, but I appreciate you more than you realize because, you know, as much as, and I've been in business, in this apparel business for almost 40 years now, maybe more. But, you know, when I took on the starter brand and I know what it meant to sport and to culture, the first person I talked to just to make sure I was on the right track with it, because I had a vision. People were saying, man, the brand is in Walmart, ain't gonna mean nothing. And I was like, I believe in it because I just know how meaningful it was. And I was like, you know, before Nike had sports and pop culture, starter had it, and it still resonates. And I called you, and I was like, what you think, man? You're like, you can do it. And he was like, let me help you with it. And I was like, okay, let's do it together. And this was at a point where really nobody was checking. Like everybody that I ran it by was like, it's in Walmart. Good luck, you know? And I was like, but it exited the scene very clean, right? It didn't leave raggedy, it didn't leave, you know, broken, it just left. And so I was like, I know that there is so much heritage to this brand that it would ring bells, right? So I went to NBA, and NBA is the one who put me in touch with the IP holder, Iconics. But before I even got there, I think you and I were talking, and I was with my designer, rest in peace, Danny Martinez, and I wanted to do iconic jackets for movies. And I wanted to do Coming to America, and I wanted to do Beverly Hills Cop. And I think that's when we first started talking.
Right.
And I said, but if I do it, I don't want some other brand to knock it off. So I went to NBA, and they were like, well, if you want to do starter, because the jackets in the movie is starter, I'll put you in touch with the folks at Iconics. And they said, if they give you the license, we'd love to have Starter back in the NBA. I talked to the NFL, same thing, NHL, because there's so many memories of what Starter meant to the sport. It revolutionized the sport. And so, you know, we were talking about how we're going to do this Beverly Hills Cobb drop, how we want to do Coming to America. And when I got the license for Starter, those were the first two drops that went crazy because of you. And then, you know, I have all the old catalogs. I have the archives, which goes back to 1971.
Yes.
Right. So I got so many clips fully loaded that, you know, I could do this for a very long time, and I plan to. But it's the nights that we talk on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning for the next thing, right? What are we gonna do next? What should I do next? And then it's like, okay, I just want to do some Detroit capsules. I want to do, because, and shout out to Detroit, they are like the biggest supporter of the brand.
Right.
Like I was today with a friend at the Sheds. And doing, you know, just they're buying stuff for Thanksgiving market, right? I look around, every Detroit jacket in there was a Starter. Every hoodie in there was a Starter. It was Chicago Bulls, it was Detroit Lions, it was Pistons, everything. Some of it was very retro, some of it was Ty Mopkins, right? But I was like, this is why I feel so great about being home, because home supports, but I also have a greater appreciation for you and what you were able to bring back into this Detroit area, into the Michigan area, because it's just phenomenal. And then everywhere we go in terms of a new release or a new initiative, it's always welcome with open arms, which is crazy, because you and I always talk about everybody has a Starter story, right? Somebody either got their jacket took from them, which was pre-Jordan. Think about that.
Yes.
They were still in jackets before they were still in Jordans. And there's a Starter story, right? I know people in Atlanta who would wear jackets to school and wouldn't take them off.
Right.
You know, I have school teachers that say these kids used to come in 100 degrees wearing the jacket. They wouldn't take them off because somebody was stealing from them, but they had to wear the jacket. So, I mean, the stories around a piece of apparel, I don't know if any other brand can do that. And I know there's no other sports brand that has the equity and culture like Starter. And so when you look at everything that has been accomplished and your enthusiasm for the brand and for just doing great shit, it's unparalleled, right? And I think that's why I stay excited about the brand. It's why I love doing what I do, and I love working with you, because you're the thermostat, right? You're not the thermometer. You're not hot or cold. You know, you can turn it up or turn it down wherever we need to be. That's how our conversations go. Like, right? I could be super excited about something, and you'd be like, yo, we should probably take this step first before we go all the way up here. And then you'll be like, I'm just telling you, if we do this first, it's going to set the stage for the next thing, which is going to set the stage for the next thing, right? And so, you know, that's what I love about you is because it's not feast or famine. It's not hot or cold. And, you know, for people out there that don't know the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer, you know what I mean? A thermometer, it's either hot or it's cold, right? You can't adjust it. It goes wherever the temperature is. But with a thermostat, you can adjust the temperature, and you can turn it up and turn it up and turn it up, right? And so that's where we are, man. And it's just been a blessing to have you as my partner in crime, my brother. Everything, man. It's just been incredible.
So I know we talk sometimes, and you're a big advocate for this, starter stories. And quick question. Do you have a starter story?
Wow. I probably got a couple, but my true starter story, because I used to go to Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, to the starter headquarters, and David Beckerman, who's the founder of the brand, we can get into that and why starter is so important to sports and culture. But they had the #1 jacket, in my opinion, is still the dopest, and I literally just got it because every time I wanted one, they were like, "No, we got to give it to the team. No, we don't have your size." Hartford Whalers.
Yes.
The Hartford Whalers jacket.
Yes.
I just got. I found a vintage one. Wasn't my size, so I had my factory remake it exactly like the vintage.
Which color was it? The blue or the green one?
It was a green one.
Oof.
And the green one, and the colors, like if you go into the current style guide, the colors and the outlines are a little different.
They are.
Right? And so Malcolm, my designer, said, "Do you want it just like this? Or you want it like it's in the style guide?" Like, I want it exactly like I saw it when I first wanted it. But that is like one of my starter stories, but my most memorable starter story was, I'm out in New York City, me and Pepper Johnson.
Pepper Johnson.
We're going to a nightclub, Red Parrot. I think it was on a Wednesday night.
Okay.
Cool DJ Red Alert was DJing, I believe. And it was like that night, it's Wednesday nights during that period, it was a who's who that went to Red Parrot.
Okay.
So we got a limo, me and Pep, we get out the limo. We about to go into Red Parrot. And I look up, it's a crowd of people. I see Drew from Houdini, everybody's there.
Right.
And then behind us, I hear somebody screaming, "Yo, Pepper, yo, Banks, Pepper, Banks." So I turn around, and it's DMC and Jam Master Jay.
Right.
But DMC is screaming, like he's like fanning out. And he's like, "Yo, Giants, baby." He had on the Blue Giants starter jacket.
Okay.
And I was like, "Yo, that's really dope." And Pep and Jay, rest in peace, were the closest of friends. DMC and I, to this day, continue to talk.
Right.
But he's a big supporter of the brand, of me. We support each other, but it was just the most incredible moment when you turn around and it's freaking DMC from Run DMC and Jam Master Jay, and D's got on the starter jacket, and that made my day, man. That was like the most memorable moment ever. And that's when like when you're in Detroit and you know how celebrity is, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm here, and Hitman's a good friend of mine, and because we're all in the same era.
Yeah.
But then you're in New York and you're winning, and you see people, but like you don't know if they're rocking with you or not. You don't even know if they even like sports.
Right.
Right? Because New York's got a lot going on. And then to see that, and to see that jacket, and the guy is hardcore. Giants fan, hardcore starter. And then, I got a chance to become friends with Chuck D. All he performed in was starter, right? And then think about the movie culture and the videos. You probably couldn't go from probably 88, wherever MTV Rap started, to the mid to late 90s without seeing a starter jacket in every video. Every video. It's crazy. And Ed Lover and Dr. Dre always tell the story how they used to try to buy them, just so they could have them on set that they could wear. But like everybody would perform in them. It's crazy. You can go. Somebody just sent me a picture of Ice-T in a Chicago Bulls starter jacket, right? And I didn't know Ice-T until later in life.
Of course.
But like, as soon as I saw him, he knew who I was, right? And but it's just like amazing how sports and pop culture intersects, and then right in that intersection is starter, right? And so for me, seeing celebrities and then going back, say this dude was wearing the jacket, right? Or
yes.
The hats, right? NWA was notorious for starter hats, starter jackets. And I just saw an article where somebody said, like, Starter was the first brand to put their logo here because people used to wear their hats backwards, right? So it's so much influence on sports, fashion, and how fandom became fashionable because of Starter. And David Beckerman always said that he wanted the sidelines to be the runway for fans, right? So he didn't want coaches looking, like gym teachers.
Like Tom Landry.
Right, or like Tom Landry,
Yeah.
right? Because they didn't have many choices.
No.
And so he decided that he wanted to do sweaters, he wanted to do jackets, everything that you saw, it was intentional, right? All the way down to the Starter logo on the sleeve, because they had a baseball manager who always did his interviews with his arms folded, right? So he decided to put the logo right here on the left sleeve. And that's how the logo became so synonymous on the left sleeve. Now, every other brand wants to do that too, but it is what it is.
I was going to say, that is the most copied product placement area of all time.
Yeah.
When Starter, you could just tell, like, and it's to the point now, Carl, where it kind of gets redundant now, and it's kind of lazy.
Well, no, you know what? Let's just keep it 100.
Okay.
I would do it too if I thought people would pay attention to, like, if the hottest brand is doing it, then you want to do it. But the thing is, there's this thing called brand equity, right?
Yeah.
And you can put yours there, but it ain't the Starter logo, right? And the tagline for Starter is "Look for the star," right? So when you're looking at a jacket, you're gonna look at that left sleeve and see if it's Starter or not.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you basically traced, you copied. And it's all good. I mean, more power to everybody, right? Do what you do. Like, but we do what we do.
I know. And I was in New York a couple of years ago, and you guys did an event with Jadakiss. And Jadakiss probably said something that stood out then and even stands out now. When we was kids, we had to make sure that we had the Starter logo right there, because for some of us, that was our Rolex.
Yeah.
Remember when Jadakiss said that?
Yeah.
And it's true. Now, you talk about your Starter story. Let me tell you mine. Mine is a little gritty, right?
Okay.
Mine is a little gritty.
Who did you jack for a jacket?
Listen, I got 3 words growing up in the city of Detroit, and probably in Flint. 3 words in the city of Detroit you don't want to hear is "check it in." So I had bugged my parents for years, maybe 2 years straight. No, you can't get one because you're gonna get robbed, and you can't hang it up in your locker. So here, growing up in Detroit, we didn't want to wear our local teams because everybody else was wearing it. We wanted to be the one that stood out and like, wow, where did you get that from? Where did you get this from? So growing up in my era, some of the most iconic ones were the white Georgetown, the white Boston Celtics. Even though we bad boys and we Piston fan, you had to be really brave enough to walk around the city of Detroit with a Boston Celtic jacket on. But that, and then the Georgetown, then the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Because of Luke.
Yep.
So the one I got sought after was the one I fell in love with Starter with from the beginning. It was the actual poster of Dr. J with the Sixer jacket on.
Yeah.
And so I finally was able to get one of those. And I walked up the street, me and my friend, Deshaun. He had the first Starter jacket. Well, it was two of them, but he had the California Angels. During that time, it was only two Starter jackets that zipped up. It was the California Angels and the LA Dodgers.
That's right.
So he had the California Angels one. And we walked up to this store. In the West Coast, they call them swap meets. Here we call them flea markets. So we went up to this place called Juno's, because at the time, I already got the hat and the jacket. You complete the set by getting the name belt buckles. So I was gonna go up there and get me a name belt buckle. And when we got it, we walked out. It was this little short guy. Hey man, y'all gonna have to run them coats. So it's me and my friend Deshaun.
Right.
So we like, nah, we could take him. And we're like, man, if you don't get up out our face, next thing I know, we felt two cold pieces of iron on our neck. And I want to say that they was very nice. They took the jackets off of us. We ain't had to do no work. We just stand there, and they ran off with our jackets. So I got checked in for my Philadelphia 76ers starter jacket. Because of you, 25 years later, I recreated that same starter jacket, and we sold it out in a matter of minutes. Because I told the story, and we'll talk about storytelling in a minute, but we told the story of check it in. And I told the story about how I got robbed for this jacket, and now I'm able to recreate it and put it back in my arsenal in my closet again.
Yeah.
So that's my starter story. Let me ask you this, because we're going to bounce back and forth. We're going to go all over.
Yeah, let's do it.
When did you know you wanted to get into not the apparel business, but doing sports apparel?
Probably like my second or third year playing in the NFL. So that was like 87, 88.
Okay.
Because I was signed, I was one of Starter's first athletes to sign. Okay. Right? And having spent some time in New Haven and around David Beckerman, and just the passion he had for it, right? And seeing what he saw, and then, you know, in college, in high school, you know, sports gear was always the thing, right? At that time, it was duffel bags, right? Big ass duffel bags.
That's right.
And I remember, because I was a pretty good basketball player at Beecher, and I used to go to camp in East Lansing. It was Magic and Dr. Tucker's camp, and Magic was still at Michigan State, and me and this kid, Terrell Burton from Benton Harbor, played Magic and Jay Vincent for this big ass basketball. It was a duffel bag. Oh yeah, and that shit was like, you official. Like,
yeah,
you got, because it was hard to get one of them in a gray T-shirt with, you know, because that was the official uniform. Yes, right? You official athlete, right? If you got that duffel bag and you got that gray, you know, you're official, right? And if you had the sweats and all that to go with it, you was a baller, right? So, like, during that period, me and Terrell Burton, we played Jay Vincent and Magic 1-on-1 to win the bag, right? We whooped that. So it was a close game. Okay. We hit the winning bucket, and Magic called fucking 3 seconds or something like that and pick up basketball. And was dead ass serious. I'm like, to this day I see him, I'm like, I need my bag, bro. Like, it was that big, it was 2 big duffel bags, like, you know, what the athletes wear. And I was so pissed. I was like, yo, you just took my bag. I still tease him to this day. We were so hurt because nobody could beat them, but we beat them. Right. And he called 3 seconds in a pickup game, and I was so pissed. But anyway, so you fast forward. So that culture, the authenticity of sport was always there. Having been an athlete and knowing, when you had the official gear, it was status, right? And so when I signed with Starter, it was official because now you got the official stuff that's on the sideline, right? But to tell you the impact that the brand had, it revolutionized like pop culture.
Right.
Right? There's a picture in the New York Times of John Gotti wearing a Raiders jacket.
Yes.
Right? But it's in movies. It's like Tom Hanks is wearing a Starter hoodie. It just goes back and then it moves forward because you still see it. Like in the movie The Town,
yes,
they have it right now. But so in '87, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, I'm up in New Haven, and I was like, when I grow up, I want to be like him because he's got it figured out, and that's David Beckerman. But growing up for me was like, I need to start this now, right? So I needed to find an in, right? So I was looking for any type of white space that I could get into sports licensed apparel, just
right.
based on how it just took over fandom and pop culture. And my way in is I looked and I didn't see anybody doing leather, right? And then
right.
being from here.
You're right, yes.
Being from here, there was Mark Buchanan and there was Pelly Pelly, right? 8 Ball was good, but like Mark and Pelly Pelly was the status symbol, right?
Oh, yeah.
I remember in college, first time I saw a Mark Buchanan, I think Tommy Hearns had it on when I was with him one time, and I was just like, I think I can get in doing leather. And so I, on 38th Street, went to a sample house and designed, team leather jackets.
Right.
And so I went to NFL and I wanted to do it. They was protecting, I don't want to call it gatekeeping, but they had some real established people, right?
Of course.
But nobody was doing it. Everybody was just doing black jackets, right? I was doing jackets in team colors and color blocked and all that. And so they were like, okay, he a player. We want to try to support him. So let's see what you got. But it wasn't like a clean opportunity.
Right.
I call it, they gave me a license to fail.
Wow.
Because they gave me big and tall suede only jackets. Right? So peep this. I know what it looks like here at home.
Of course.
That can be the flyest thing ever.
Right.
Right? So I'm like, bet. Big and tall suede only. I got it. Now I just had to find somebody who can make it.
Right.
In mass quantities. And I had to find somebody who could buy it.
Okay.
Right? So I shopped it around. My late partner, Michael Cohen, who was in the label business, brought me to a couple people, and then he brought me to G3, which was the largest leather manufacturer in the world. They had just set some record for millions of members only type jacket.
Okay.
And so Morris Goldfarb, the CEO, was like, I don't know if I want to be in business with an athlete. So I don't show up for meetings and you always get in trouble. Now at this time, I had a little business selling. And so he's like, well, right now I don't have factories that do colors, but I'm willing to build a factory and dedicate this if you think it's a good enough business. I said, yeah. So he was like, let me think about it. So Morris is like, I still don't know. So he said, meet me for coffee next week on your next off day, which is Tuesday at Arnold. So we met. So we had 4 of those meetings, and then he just said, okay, I want to do it.
Okay.
Then he brought all of his factory people in. Jeanette Nostra, who was running kind of a boutique leather business for him called Sienna Studios. And he was like, can we get a factory to do this? And she said, yep. And so he dedicated a factory to do different color leather.
Wow.
And I knew it was just a matter of time before they were going to give me every size scale, right? But I had to show and prove, right?
Okay.
So I knew that the workmanship would be great. But then, going to big and tall shows, and it's so funny that our good friend here, Maurice Malone, his partner, Simon Akiva,
Okay.
had a lot of different big and tall connects, and he helped me out. Like, he's like, see this person, or I would go by Maurice's booth at one of the trade shows, and Simon would call somebody over and tell him what I was doing. So I got enough business, and then I convinced Foot Locker.
Okay.
Shout out to Rick Mina, who ran Foot Locker at the time, and said, okay, we'll start at extra large, right? And I think he fudged a little bit. I think we had like some size larges that he put extra large in.
Right.
And we went up to like 3X.
Okay.
They sold. So NFL was the first one to come in and say, hey, we like what you're doing. We want to expand this to all sizes, just suede though. So I was like, cool. So now my competition, they should have had a head start because they saw what I was doing. But I knew once I learned the business through G3, I knew how hard it is to get a factory to do colors and to do colors in 32 teams across 5 leagues. Every red ain't the same red. No. Every blue ain't the same blue.
Not at all.
But so I knew my competition wasn't going to be able to do that.
Right.
The only thing they would do is change the logo on a black jacket. So when I went to JCPenney with my suede jackets, I had more jackets than they had T-shirts and fleece. Like, my competition would meet before me, and they come in with these racks,
right,
of like sweatshirts and fleece and tees, and I would have the same amount of racks with jackets, just different styles, different colors, and so we killed it with pennies, and then NBA was like, I want to give you leather. And I also want to give you apparel.
Oh, wow.
And so we were doing big and tall apparel, and then they gave me regular leather. Now, keep in mind, when I said to myself in New Haven, when I grew up, I want to be just like you, it wasn't just leather. That was just
that's the end game.
That's my end, right? My foot in the door. And I knew once I got my foot in the door, it was going to be outerwear. So it was leather, it was suede, and then it was leather.
Okay.
And to this day, we're still the #1 brand, G3 Sports by Carl Banks, in outerwear, right? Leather, the market went, now it's back. And I'm in the lab, and just what we're doing. And the thing that we can do better than anybody else, and I'm gonna tell my formula a little bit, I can give you leather at multiple prices. A lot of companies can either give it to you here,
yep,
or they'll give it to you here. I can give you good, better, best, and excellent, right? And service it, design it, and make it, and you can feel the difference. So we're back in that, and all I can say is 2026, it's about to be different again. I think we saw a little glimpse of that. Shout to Mike Phillips, who kind of debuted one of our of our New York Knicks pieces that I wasn't at the game, but I heard it was quite the conversation piece. And so we're doing that. And so that's when, I kind of got in the game. And so I was doing that for 20 something years, just outerwear and leather. And then I got a chance to do a little bit of activewear. But, there were some big names in there at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like Pro Player and Logo Athletic, Nutmeg Mills, Signature, all of these guys. But I had a different point of view. So I stayed, rooted in big and tall as well as regular sizes. And so my apparel, large sizes, big and tall, regular sizes, and dominated in that because that's what G3 is the best at, right? So I could build outerwear to this day better than some people can build hats and T-shirts.
That's true.
And again, I can sell it to you good, better, best, right? We source it better, we make it better. I don't make disposable clothes. That's the one gift and the curse, right? People either collect my stuff or they hold on to the one piece they got. But the beautiful part is now I'm seeing people with some of my old stuff and say, I got it from my brother, I got it from my father, I found this in the attic, what's next? But they wanted me to stay in the big and tall space in apparel.
Yes.
And I was like, again, this is my foot in the door. Because I see what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But I had a front row seat to everything Starter did. And I'm looking at what's there, and I'm looking at what Starter's doing, and nobody's even coming close.
Oh.
Right? So I'm like, it's just a matter of time because I'm going to design and build big and tall apparel better than the regular apparel. And so we grew a business there, and some of the people in regular apparel were struggling a little bit, trying to maintain their real estate.
Right.
Because stores start asking for my stuff in regular sizes.
Okay.
Because let's say, for instance, Foot Locker is buying regular sizes from everybody else, and they're buying big and tall from me, and my big and tall is better than the regular. So they're calling the NFL saying, how come we can't get Carl stuff in regular sizes? And they were hearing it. And at that time, Reebok got into the business.
Okay.
So Reebok only did what Reebok did. They were shoes and whatever else they did. But what they ended up doing, they cut a deal with the NFL and they cut a deal with the NBA that basically took all the rights.
Wow.
For big and tall, everything. And everything but coats. And they warehoused the rights. So they wasn't even servicing.
Okay.
They took everything because if they couldn't do it, they didn't want nobody else to do it. And so I was doing my coats, and they even blocked me out of certain retailers. Like Foot Locker could no longer buy my stuff, but they're seeing it, let's just say, at Dunham's, right? And Foot Locker, or MC Sports at the time.
Yes,
right?
MC Sporting Goods.
And they're saying, how come we can't have this? And NFL was like saying to Reebok, you can't keep warehousing the rights because this store wants what the competition has.
Right.
And so all I kept doing is finding a different path, right? Like the best thing that could have ever happened to me is to be given a license to fail, because then you find how to be successful there. Then you know whatever obstacle gets in your way, you find the next white space. And then you put great product in that space, and everybody's looking saying, how come I can't have that? I'm not telling you can't have it. The system said you can't have it. And when you start pressuring and it's a law of supply and demand, then at some point the dam breaks and they say, okay, y'all deal with it. He in, if you just make better product. You had a head start. And so that's how it all began pre-starter, right? And then about 15 years ago, we started the starter situation. I think you had just left Puffer Reds, I believe.
Yep, and I went to Mr. Allen's.
And went to Mr. Allen's.
And I had this crazy idea about not only doing starter, but putting a release date on a jacket.
Correct, which had never been done. Now, think about this. Only shoes had release dates at that time. And when you called me, you said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but we're going to do this jacket. I'm going to put a release date on it and watch what happens. And I remember it was a Saturday, and you sent me a picture of a line down and around the block for that jacket.
Yeah.
Had never been done before.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever waited in line to buy apparel. People wait in line to buy shoes.
Yes.
Or if there's a one of them warehouse wedding dress sales where people show up for that.
Yes.
But nobody's ever just like, you show the jacket, put a release date on it, and the anticipation was just like shoes.
Because I had to do something different, Carl, because like you was hearing the things, I was hearing the things as well too, especially from people from the swoosh. They was like, oh, you about to do a starter jacket? Oh, that's cute. We used to have starter, it was 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess we're going to resurrect this then.
Yeah.
And at that time, our good buddy Nate Burleson was playing for the Lions. Calvin Johnson was playing for the Lions. So I knew that all I did was tapped into the sneaker DNA. Well, here in Michigan and the Midwest, we call them gym shoes.
Yeah.
So I tapped into the gym shoe theory, what was going on, and I said, you know what? We still live in a society now that people always want what they can't have. What you mean I can't have it right now? I give you extra for it.
Right.
So I said, this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to put a release date on it. And at the time, this when I was at Mr. Allen's. And to their credit, they believed enough in me to say, okay, we ordered 500 of these jackets. Yeah. They're used to, as soon as they hit the warehouse, put it out.
Right.
I said, no, we're going to hold on to it for like 3 weeks because I knew the Thanksgiving game was coming, like it always happens every year here in the city of Detroit.
Right.
Well, we can't let this sit in the warehouse for 3 weeks, Ty.
Right.
I said, trust me. I said, and we're going to only sell them at one store. At this time, Mr. Allen's had like 8 stores where as soon as they come in, they divide it, ship it out, put it in their system. And they was like, and I had just started with Mr. Allen's. I just started building a relationship with them. And I was like, either this going to fail or we're going to be the most talked about thing going around. So I said, just trust me. So I gave Nate Burleson one, Calvin Johnson one, my brother Jalen Rose, and I did product placement and I did pictures. And social media was just now catching on at this time. This is 2014. So it's just now catching on. Instagram wasn't who it was now. So I said, coming soon. We got this jacket coming out, the Thanksgiving Day Detroit Lions throwback jacket, the Monty Clark, everybody wear this and all that, blah, blah, blah. I knew we had something when the Saturday before Thanksgiving, that's when promo got heavy so much that press got involved. The newspapers was talking about it, the news networks was talking about it, and my ace in the hole was the starter brand. Starters coming back and they're releasing it this weekend with this Wednesday at Mr. Allen's and blah, 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 blah. I knew we had something, Carl, when people was calling the stores 3 days before we released it, asking, can they buy it now? How much is it? Well, I'll give you 500 for you now. Let me be the first one with it. I'll be the first one with it. I'll give you 500 for it right now. And we held on to it. We held true. And then that Wednesday morning, I know I was driving to the store and I was nervous. I was like, either this gonna sink or swim. And when I pulled up in that parking lot, it was nowhere for me to park. Like you said, it was lines wrapped around the Mr. Allen's building. And they was like, thank God you're here. We don't know what to do. I said, do the same thing you do if it was a sneaker release.
Right.
And later on that day, I knew we had a winner because all the social media was talking either good things about it or like, yeah, I got my jacket. Look, I'm posting it. Or bad things. Get one.
How come they didn't make enough?
That too. Yeah. Or I really knew I had them, when they was like, who Ty Mopkins think he is? Michael Jordan? I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I was like, the next one. We got a Detroit
Yeah.
Piston one coming out. And so I did a mixtape for that. And it just kept going and going and going and going and going to where we at today, where Detroit really held me down, but now it's like a national following with it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, this speaks to the influence that you have on modern day pop culture because, and the power of Detroit, right? Because right after that, New Face in Atlanta.
Yes.
Saying, how do we get this in Atlanta?
Yes.
Atlanta loves Starter. And then there was a whole Starter story. And shout to New Face because he's big
He's a
a
Detroiter.
supporter as we can come by, and he's in Atlanta, and he's like, trust me. And then you know you start to hear the Starter stories in Atlanta, and then you know we didn't go big. We went to Walters.
Yes.
Right? Because Walters is part of the he's part of the fabric of Atlanta, right? And Jeff and Pat were like, okay, let's do it. You know, we need to do it this way. And, you know, they have one store, right? But he's like, everybody that is somebody since they were babies shop this store. So we feel like we could do it. And so we launched in Atlanta and same thing.
Yes.
Same thing happened. And then you just start to see it across the country. You know, everybody wants to be a part of it. And, then, you know, you get some people that, because we were also in the heavy phase of influencers, right?
Yes.
And, you know, guys from their region was wanting to be their Ty Mopkins, right, of their region, but they wanted to have their own flavor to it. And, you know, you heard it like I heard it. Yeah, we got this. We don't need no Starter in this area, whatever. And, you know, they do what they do. And
Right.
because Starter has brand equity in sport. We roll through whatever city it is, and we have a library.
Of course.
Right? So if it's All-Star in Chicago or LA, we can introduce a jacket that hasn't been seen forever for All-Star.
Right.
Nobody's has that authenticity of this is an actual jacket, right? This actually existed. And now we're introducing it for All-Star. Or we're introducing it for Super Bowl, or we're introducing it for Baseball All-Star.
Yes.
And stores want it. And because Starter has such a legacy amongst all sports teams,
Right.
it's easy to do. You can say you don't want it, but the most coveted piece in Chicago was the Chicago Bulls red Starter jacket. Right? And there was a rare black one. So you can say you didn't want it in Oakland, but Too Short wore it. Hammer wore it, right? So that just speaks to the equity of a brand and its legacy that no other sports brand has.
No. The way you explain
no other non-shoe brand, and the only shoe brand. Well, okay, so Nike is Nike, right? But you know, even before Nike, you know, Converse had, you know, some big name athletes, but Nike, let's just say they were able to take it to a whole nother level.
No,
and
that's true.
you take your hat off to them because they're still running today. But from an apparel side, there are no stories that you can tell like a Starter story.
No, it's
It's
very
been
true.
a part of, you know, pop culture. It was the uniform, right? And nobody had a problem. And see, that's the difference too. Nobody had a problem wearing the jacket that they saw on the sideline
Oh, no.
with Starter. Today, how many people you see wearing the jacket that they see on the sideline now?
They don't want
No
it.
disrespect.
No, it's not. It's not. But
No
the truth is the
disrespect,
truth. They
right?
not.
But there's not, these items are not made for pop culture.
Not at all.
They're based on whatever the performance mandates are. And they disconnect because you have technical people and then you have design people that have to come together and put something that,
Yeah.
and athletes demand that today, right? They don't need stuff that fall apart.
No.
And so it's different. People don't buy the stuff that they see their coach wearing today. And like I said, there's no disrespect.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it's just not the same. It's not the same energy. It's not the same aesthetic.
Well, that ties back to what you said earlier in the show about how no other brand has taken fandom and turned it into fashion like Starter. Right. And that's the truth, because it's funny how this jacket, really this brand, but we say the jacket because everybody got this signature thing. Like, we know Nike got the white on white Air Force One.
Yeah.
But the satin jacket has been passed down from generations to generations. It's so many people up here that has a Starter story. Like you said earlier, my grandfather wore that. Oh my God, if they see it, it's an emotional buy.
Right, but I'm gonna tell you what is low key just as big of a story, and I just gotta let it breathe, is the breakaway.
Oh my God.
Because people talk about that pullover with the pouch and the zip, men and women.
Yes.
And we're letting that breathe now. And that is starting to do a whole nother thing, because there exists probably 25 different versions of that. And we're probably on 2 right now. So, and then you'll start to ask about certain apparel pieces, like the double hoodie. And then there's a full zip story, a windbreaker story. And then you get into the whole locker room pieces, the grays, right? So it's a lot. We're gonna start to, we've already started to tap the next phase, right? And we've been sitting here talking about pro sports, right? Basketball, hockey, baseball, football, and the area that we are about to lean into is college.
I was going to touch on that.
Because you mentioned Luke, Miami Hurricanes. It was a hot jacket. Right? UNLV.
Oh, yeah.
Hot jacket. Duke, hot jacket. Georgetown, St. John's.
All of it.
UConn. Some hot, iconic jackets, right? That we started to introduce last year. We did kind of our Beast of the Big East. Low-key hot jacket, Syracuse. There's a rare all-orange one.
Oh my God, I remember, yeah.
Not the blue and orange, there's an all-orange one.
Orange.
That's super rare. Yeah, there's some, and then there's some hat designs too that you're gonna start to see. So, I mean, we coming.
We ain't never left, brother.
No. What I'm saying is, there are a lot of people that are in spaces that had head starts, and you're gonna do what you do, and we're gonna do what we do.
Yes.
And I don't. I see what people are doing. I have no incentive to copy anything anybody does, because my library is so big.
Man.
And our motto is, we can show you better than we can tell you, right? So we just go about doing our business, and we make sure that the product is done right. That's the key, right? I don't want to put bullshit out there. I don't want shit that fall apart.
Nope.
You buy something, I want to exceed expectations, right? That's why you got people who are wearing starter jackets that are 30 years old. and they still holding up.
Still
right?
look brand new.
That's the standard I always want to maintain. So that's why we take so much pride in what we do.
So I got a couple of questions to ask you about, of course, sports. Tell me a little bit about Bad Fellas. Where did that come about?
Bad Fellas came about from the movie Goodfellas, and that poster, and Kostakos brothers.
Okay.
John Kostakos, who's a good man, came to us with the idea, and he wanted me, Pepper, and Lawrence to shoot that, and wanted to shoot it like the Goodfellas poster. And that was during a period where, we were wrecking shit on the field. And so we said, yeah. So we got the limos, lights in the back, and we shot it, and it was stupid crazy. And that poster is legendary. And so 2 years ago, I wanted to redo that poster. And so I got Pep, I got Lawrence, and we reintroduced That's My New York City Nights jacket, or New York City Lights. And we shot it in that instead of the suits for the Bad Fellas. But I wanted to capture the essence of that period, but not just the on-field, but we talked about New York City Lights, which was the moments like meeting Jam Master Jay and DMC, being in New York City during that period where, we were really celebrated. So I wanted to introduce all of that. And, we had some storytelling around that with Rakim and Ed Lover. And that was, the stories they would tell about Starter during that period was pretty dope. So we wanted to introduce that. And so we redid the commercial, and shout out to Cadillac because they supplied, the vehicles for that shoot.
Tell me a little bit about, and what does Flint, Michigan means to you?
Flint means everything, man. A town of less than 100,000 people, and we all root for each other. We all support each other, not knowing where we stood on the global stage, but every time we went on a national or global stage, we saw we was pretty goddamn good.
Yes.
And our high schools all played against each other. I mean, we used to come here to play with St. Cecilia. And that's everybody from everywhere, just to see where we stood. Then you had Saginaw, which had some dope, and they were 15 minutes, 20 minutes down the road.
Right.
We would, Saginaw High was incredible. Saginaw Buena Vista was incredible. But we just went and played against everybody, right? And Beecher, we never had a track. We practiced on dirt.
Really?
We ran state championships every year. We never ran on a track until we got to a track meet.
Wow.
We had dirt and gravel was our track. And so in basketball, we were great. In track, men's and women's, we would win state championship after state championship. Marty Crane was our track coach.
Okay.
The man that means everything to me and most of the people that went to Beecher High School was Mose Lacy, our coach. He just taught us how to win, what it took to win, the attitude that it took, and just ingrained in us a winner spirit. So no matter how bad your team was, you were not going to be part of the problem.
Okay.
And so even, my years at Michigan State were bad, but I was going to be the best player because I played with that attitude. I had a winner spirit, but we were all just one really close group, close community because, we had at the time, maybe 5 high schools and
Okay.
with some really good players from different parts of town. Again, it was a town of 100,000 people at its peak, maybe 125.
Okay.
But we all played against each other. And then the big competition was the Canusa games, Canada, USA. So Flint, we had that exchange. So we would go and play against each other, and then we'd go play against the kids out of Canada.
Okay.
And that was kind of like our Olympic experience because we did everything from hockey, shuffleboard, basketball, volleyball. But we had to make the Canusa team, right? So we had to play against everybody in the city.
Oh, wow.
And to see if you could make that team just to play in the Canusa game. So, we all supported each other. We all went to see each other play. Very fierce competition. But, when you look at the amount of pros that came out of Flint and kids that went to major colleges, you'd be shocked. You'd think Flint was a huge town. I spent my summers working at a cemetery, Graceine Cemetery, because the owner, Peter Budarakis, was a big supporter of just trying to keep us all out of trouble.
Of course.
And the interesting thing about that was Peter was also about giving people second chances. So I worked in a cemetery. It's me, Marty Embry, Mark Ingram. It was a bunch of us. We worked with ex-convicts and people on work release.
Okay.
Right? So he put us in the middle of all of that. Right? And I know he did it for the life lessons. Because we weren't with shoplifters.
Right. Y'all was with the
with
real
some bad
deal.
people, right?
Yeah.
And my father was a corrections officer.
Okay.
So, he knew the kind of people we was in there working with. But, Peter was about giving people second chances in life and rehabilitating people. But he was also about putting us in this mix.
Right.
So that we can see what it's like. And those men were giving us life lessons every day.
Oh, wow.
And telling us what to stay away from and not, they weren't moving us in the direction that they were in. They were moving us away from that. And, I did that from, I think, my junior year in high school all the way through college.
Really?
Yeah. And it wasn't paying a great deal of money. It kept me out, but just the life lessons you learn amongst those human beings was just invaluable. And, Peter would roll through, grab us up, take us out to lunch, more life lessons we talk about. And between him and Moses Lacy was probably, the best thing that could have happened to me in my formative years. And I remember, every athlete has a story where they were rejected somewhere, right? And I remember coming out of junior high school, going into high school, and in order to play on your high school team, you had to play summer ball.
Right.
And I remember trying out, and the guy who ran the summer league for my high school took all the kids from his high school.
Okay.
So I went to try out, and he told me I wasn't good enough.
Oof.
And that he already had his team. And so I left dejected, and I knew I was a baller. So I went to play in another league where all the other high schools were, and then here in Detroit.
Yeah.
And so we traveled to Detroit, and I played, and this guy came up to me, and he said, what school you go to? I said, I go to Beecher. He said, how come you're not playing in their league for them in the summer? I said, because the coach told me he had his team already, and I wasn't good enough. And so this guy said to me, my brother didn't tell you that, because he was coaching the other team, and I was playing against his team. And I think it was after a game here in Detroit. He said, my brother didn't tell you that. I said, I don't know, because he's black. I said, is your brother white? He started laughing. He said, nah. I said, well, this guy told me he had his team and I couldn't play.
Right.
And so when I got back home from that game, I got out the car, and sitting on my front porch was Coach Lacy and my father sipping Crown Royal.
Oh, wow.
And Crown Royal and Canadian Club, that was their drink, right?
CC, yeah.
And so they're sitting there, and Mr. Lacy says to me, see, I heard somebody told you couldn't play for my basketball team. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I'm the coach of that team, and I want you to be there tomorrow. So I show up, and I knew the dudes that was playing, right?
Right.
And so, but they thought it was funny when dudes sent me home. And so when I showed up the next day, he had me on second team or whatever, and I was cool, So it took about a half a practice until, somebody got their job took, and I was in the starting lineup.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, but from that moment on, that's when I really learned what competition is, what having a winning spirit is, no matter what your circumstance is.
Right.
And the work that it takes to be great at what you do.
Yes.
Right? And to be uncompromising and unapologetic. Once you put the work in, you don't have to apologize for shit. Right? And if somebody's feelings hurt, that's them, that's not you.
Exactly.
Because you ain't do nothing wrong but what you were supposed to do.
You did your job.
Right. So that spirit lived with me through everything I did in life. Right? And so, I took that to college. Obviously, I took it to the NFL, but that was my Flint is the place that built this.
Yes.
Right? The community, the people who had interest in making sure, not just me, but a lot of the kids that come out did the right thing, worked hard at it.
Right.
And so I'm proud of that, but I'm also proud to be the example for guys like Mateen Cleaves and the Flintstones and Charlie Bell. Charlie Bell, I used to play against his father. His father used to tear my ass up. He had this lazy jump shot. And, that was the thing.
Oh, my God.
Because when I couldn't play
Right.
for my high school during that summer, half of that summer, I was playing against grown men. Yeah. Right? And so I tell Charlie all the time, like, your father used to tear my ass up. And he's the last thing. My father had that lazy jumper, but all of that is what helped us during our formative years. Mm-hmm. And so I will put Flint, the spirit, the work ethic of the folks from Flint against any community ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. Like, it's blue collar, it's hard work. You got people in Pittsburgh and, Flint, Detroit, we all got the same spirit.
We're cousins.
But there are some blue collar places all over, but I'll put us against any of them because we fight.
Yes.
Right? And that's not just the sports part of it, but we do it all. You know what I mean? We fight.
Yeah.
Right? And
we'll fight each other, but we're not going to let nobody else mess with us.
Correct. And then if you take us out of that environment, it's a difference. Right? Yeah. Somebody think they want to, then they find out, no, that's not, this dude, these people are a little different, But that's what Flint means to me. That's what the community of Beecher has meant. And again, I'm proud to have been a great example for a lot of generation of kids that came after me, right? Yeah. And nobody really wanted to go to Michigan State at the time I went there. And only reason I went is because Magic told me it was going to be a great opportunity for me in a great environment that I wouldn't regret, and I don't. But a lot of other kids, especially the basketball players, the Start Pipeline just came and started to help Izzo build his programs.
Yes, they did.
And so I was really happy about that. And then, it's interesting, I got a call the other night from Lorenzo White. Lorenzo's from Florida. And we were talking, and he said, I always wanted to tell you this, and I just never had the chance to, but I want to tell you, I thank you for the example that you set, because people at Michigan State said to me, you're a lot like Carl, right? You're competitive, you're a good person, and you're a great leader. And he's like, I just want to thank you for that, because you was the example that I followed when I got to Michigan State. Mm-hmm. And so, he's from that pipeline of Dade County and Broward County, where they put a lot of people in the pros in major colleges. And he said, and that for him to say that to me was incredible. That just means that Flint raised me right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they got example after example out of those Broward and Dade County, and but he said that was the example that he followed. So that was pretty dope.
Well, I want to say thank you. And like I started the show and I said, if it wasn't you, it wouldn't be me.
Well, it would be. I just think, and I'm flattered you say that, but I think sometimes, just like with my experience, it takes somebody to believe in you, to allow you to open up your imagination, right? To know that you're not limited by somebody saying no, that a good idea is not because somebody decided to give you a shot at it. It was always a good idea.
No.
Right? It was always a great vision. It just their fault that they didn't see it sooner. But the blessing is that you get a chance to live that now, right? And the blessing is that the world can see it, and you just now scratching the surface. And see, that's the beautiful part about us, and it's probably based on our environment, right?
The DFC, Detroit Flint connection.
Because we spend a lot of time,
yes,
thinking and creating in our heads, right? And we get a chance to see the world through a lens that, people not looking back at us, but we're looking at them.
That's true.
And we're saying, oh, I could do, if he did that, or if they, and then all of a sudden you get the opportunity to say, okay, I got a clean canvas, watch what I do, right? And that's where you are now, and and that's where we are, and because we get the chance to see markets, right?
Yes.
And to see how people move, and it's a great opportunity for us when we get our listen, man, there's story after story, right? We have people that have influenced the world.
Yes.
Right? Take the Fab Five. We're just talking sports, right? Mm-hmm. They revolutionized the shit.
Yeah.
Right? How you look, how you dress, and how you play. Right? Everybody wanted to be that. Right? 5 kids from Detroit. Right?
Yep.
Same thing, with our guys in Flint. But people don't understand, we are creators, but we're also inventors. The fucking car was built here. You understand what I'm saying? We invent, we think.
Motown,
right?
Motown.
Music was created here.
Yeah.
The best music we know.
Yeah.
right? This ain't like y'all looking back at us. We're looking out at y'all saying, we invent shit.
Yeah.
We revolutionize things.
Yeah.
Right? You driving because of Detroit and Flint. Right? You got a goddamn spark plug from Flint. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you underestimate the blue collar nature of where we're from, but our minds are way beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
We make it possible, for a lot of things to happen. So that's why I'm happy for you, is because you're able to now articulate a vision and have it manifest.
Yeah.
Where, you don't have to feel like, this dude went to Parsons or, NYU or whatever, and they got the name, right?
Right.
And then when you peel back the layers, a lot of that shit is, fucking cotton candy.
Exactly.
Get wet so it shrinks up, right? And that ain't who we are.
Not at all.
Right? Like, there's substance to what we do. And that's why when the opportunity presents itself, great things happen.
Oh, we show up and show out.
Right? Like, and it's just so many of those instances. I always think of the Birds in Flint and boxing and Burston Fieldhouse, and we didn't know what that was. And then you got Kronk here in in Detroit, and fuck is Tommy Hearns.
Exactly.
Right? There was Ray Leonard. There was Marvin Hagler, big names, right? Wilfred Benitez and Aaron Pryor and all them dudes, right? And then you got this dude out of Kronk, little skinny boy, knocking people out, and he stepped on the big stage, and what lights wasn't too bright, right? Because we build shit, right? We invent, we have vision, and we work for it.
Yeah. Me and Jalen Rose, we have this saying, and you're a part of that as well too, where, to your point, he would say things like, "Well, Ty, I could trust you at the free throw line. I know you're gonna hit it." That same thing I say about you, because before you was a creator, you was a consumer. You already knew how to dress.
Yeah.
No one could put a suit on like you. No one could do this, from the socks to the pocket squares to everything. That's the one thing I have always admired about you, just the way you carry yourself as a gentleman, as a trendsetter, as a stylist, as everything else. And the one thing I publicly want to say about this too is that when I see you win, Flint wins.
Yeah.
Regardless of what honor it is, when people talk about you, the one thing they say about Carl Banks is that he's a gentleman and he has class. And regardless of whatever else happens, you carry those two titles with you. And those two titles are just as important as people like us that comes from Detroit, Flint, Saginaw, Grand Rapids, wherever you want to come from.
Yeah.
That carries more to us than the two Super Bowl victories. Because when you walk into a room, the room lights up and you demand respect without even asking for it. And that's the testimony to the way you carry yourself on and off the field.
Well, what they say, I'm a product of my environment.
Yes.
I just gave you why.
Yes.
Right. Aside, more than just my parents, which were, the first voices I hear coming and going every day, right? But the people who are an extension of that.
The community.
The community, right? The Peter Budarakises of the world who, put me in an environment with a bunch of convicts and ex-convicts just so I can learn life lessons, right? And these people are teaching that. Moses Lacy, who told us what a winning spirit is like and how you don't compromise that.
Right.
Right, but you also carry yourself a certain way that we represent our environment, right? And there's two sides to that though, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we also know the other side.
Of course.
We need to fight, right? It's just not the suit and the pocket square, but if we need to do something else, you know, we know how to do that, but we don't want to do that, right? But it's really all about, you know, representing guys that come from Broward County or Dade County can say, it's because of you, the way
Yes.
I conducted myself, right?
Well,
Or, you know, where the Flintstones can look and say, I'm going to Michigan State because he went there, and we got a chance to do something. They didn't go so that they could, you know, join a super team, but they said, we going and we going to make something. We're going to win this championship.
yeah.
You know, no different than what the Fab Five did,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we're gonna get together and we're gonna go in here and we're gonna do some things differently.
Well,
you know?
I just want to close by saying this. Yes, it is because of you, the way I conduct myself. Because you know me, I get mad. I'll be like, Carl, look, they knocking us off. Look at it, they vultures, they doing this. We drawing and they tracing. And you was the first one to ever tell me this story. And I use it sometimes to the people here that does the show with us. I call it the old bull complex. You got the old bull and you got the young bull. When it comes to us, I've always been like the young bull. And I'm ready to run down. I'm ready to do all this and tear up houses and do all this stuff. And you're like, no, let's just walk down and in the end, we'll win.
Yeah, because it's all about the foundation that you build, right?
Yes.
So you look at all of the people in, you know, we've had conversations about brands and things like that. And then the question I ask, where are they now? Right? Where are they now?
Because I'll be on the ledge, Carl, and you talk me off the ledge so many times.
It's, you know, sometimes it's about finding the next space, right? It was the license to fail that showed me how I could find a way to succeed. So there's really no obstacles, because if you focus it on what I'm doing now, you're missing a whole nother opportunity.
Exactly.
Right? I'm focused on some other shit. Like, I'm doing what I do and I want to do it great.
Right.
But I'm always looking for the next opportunity, the next white space. So if you chasing what I got now and you think you can do it better than me, then you behind, because I'm somewhere else already.
My brother, I love you.
The feeling is mutual.
It's nothing in this world that I won't do for you. And I am always forever grateful for the opportunity you gave to me. And I'm forever grateful for this opportunity here. And you're always there when I need you. No, you're always there when I need you, Carl. And that means more to me whenever. And I love you.
I love you too, bro.
And this is the late checkout, Sweet 1701. Make sure you click, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us. Carl Banks, 2-time Super Bowl champion, president of Starter, but most importantly, Flintstone and my brother. May God bless and keep you on your journey, and I hope it brings you back here to Sweet 1701. We out.